Prabhuji, you are ready, Prabhuji? Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu, I am ready.
Hare Krishna devotees, welcome to Nityam Bhagavata Sevayam. Today we are very fortunate to have His Grace Gaurachandra Gopinath Prabhu, who will be sharing the Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita with us. Thank you, Prabhuji. Over to you, Prabhuji. Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna. Prabhu, can you do a screen share?
Yes, Prabhuji. Now you can share the screen, Prabhuji. I stopped my sharing.
Is it visible, Prabhu? And am I audible?
Yes, Prabhuji. We can see the slide and also you are audible, Prabhuji.
Om Jnanatimirandasya Jnananjana Shalakaya Chakshurun Militam Yena Tasmai Shri Gurave Namaha Shri Chaitanya Manobhishtam Sapitam Yena Bhutale Swayam Rupa Kadamadyam Tadati Swapadantikam Vandegam Shri Guru Shri Yuda Padakamalam Shri Guru Vaishnavam Cha Shri Rupam Sagrajadam Sagana Raghunathanvitam Tam Sajivam Sadvaitam Savadutam Parijana Sagitam Krishna Chaitanya Devam Shri Radha Krishna Padam Sagana Lalita Shri Vishakhanvitam Cha Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimade Bhakti Vedanta Swami Dinamine Namaste Saraswati Devi Gauravani Pracharine Nirvishesha Shunyavadi Pashyat Deshadarine Mahavadanyaya Krishna Prema Pradayate Krishnaya Krishna Chaitanya Namine Gauratashe Namaha He Krishna Karuna Sindhu Dina Bandhu Jagatpate Gopesha Gopika Kanta Radha Kanta Namostute Tapta Kanjana Gaurangi Radhe Vrindavaneshwari Vrishabhanu Sudhe Devi Pranamami Haripriye Vancha Kalpatarubhyascha Kripa Sindhu Bhyevacha Patitanam Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo Namo Namaha Jai Shri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shri Advaita Gadadara Shivashadi Gaura Bhakta Vrinda Hare Krishna 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 Hare 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 Rama 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 Hare Hare. Hare Krishna. I welcome all the devotees. Before I start attempting to speak on something on Prabhupada, I seek all the Vaishnavas' blessing so that I may speak something appropriate and what I heard from the previous senior devotees and acharyas. So I've been asked to speak on Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita by senior devotees as a continuation, but this I'm going to do as a one-off series, and later devotees can continue where the Prabhupada Lila Amrita was spoken. But today I thought before reading Prabhupada Lila Amrita, to understand his Nama. See, generally when we speak to Krishna, we chant our rounds, Nama, then Rupa, Guna, Lila is revealed. We started already reading Srila Prabhupada Lila Amrita, but the names of Srila Prabhupada, when we do Premadhvani, we say Om Vishnu Pada Paramahamsa Parivekacharya Astotrasat Sri Srimati A.C. Bhakti Vedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. But every word has its significance. So just by understanding Srila Prabhupada's name, there is immense benefit we get. And also there is one quality stands out of Prabhupada, is that is Avai Charanara, which means that he is always surrendered to the lotus feet of his Guru and Krishna. How Prabhupada was depending on Guru and Krishna all the time. So just by, today I'm going to go in detail about Prabhupada, the name, what is Abhay Charanaras Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada means. every word, then we also understand the key guna of Prabhupada. So what happens, this will enhance our hearing when we listen to Prabhupada Lila Amrita. Also the title, if you see, I was talking about attaining Prabhupada through Srila Prabhupada. There are various meanings to Prabhupada. One of the meaning, it's Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. So I was last week giving class on the Bhagavad Gita, 9th and 10th chapter. There Bhaktivinoda Thakur gives an interesting interpretation. So the Bhagavad Gita chapter 9 is entitled Most Confidential Knowledge, Rajavidya, Rajagopya. So what is the most confidential thing is that to know Brahman, Brahma Jyoti, that is a confidential matter. To know more about Krishna as a Paramatma, then it is more confidential. The most confidential is that to know Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Prabhupada writes in Bhagavad Gita 4.8, Paritranaya sadhuna vinashaya chatuskrutam dharma samsthapanartaya sambhavami yuge yuge. In that purport, very interestingly, Prabhupada writes all the various avatars of SPLila, Gunavataras, Manvantra avatars. Then he takes Chaitanya Mahaprabhu in that sloka purport. If you see that, he refers from Chaitanya Charitamrita and says this Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is someone who is never been, it is very kept very secret, or it is not directly spoken. So just because of Prabhupada's mercy that we could be able to understand this Gaudiya history. I have studied many school books. We never knew that there is something Mahaprabhu is there. The Ramanacharya, Madhvacharya, Shankaracharya, so many acharyas, they have been Buddha, everybody has been explained. But there was never a place where we could be able to find about Mahaprabhu. So that's simply because of mercy of Prabhupada, we are able to do that. So today we're going to see how do we achieve Prabhupada through Srila Prabhupada. So there is one interesting verse in Chaitanya Charitamrita Madhya Lila. The meaning is that when Kashi Mishra heard the proposal, he said, I'm very fortunate that Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, the Lord of the Prabhus, will stay at my home. So here the Prabhupada, we're just trying to understand the word Prabhupada here. There are many meanings. One of the meanings is referred to Prabhupada, refers to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, basically all the Vaishnavas, what we do is we call as Prabhus, right? All the pure Vaishnavas. All the pure Vaishnavas who take shelter of the Prabhu Mahaprabhu, then he is called Prabhupada. So like that, Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is Krishna himself. And also there are various Vishnu incarnation like Nityananda Prabhu. Various other Vishnu categories, Vishnu Tattva, we can say Nityananda Prabhu, Advaita Acharya. They are also called Prabhupada. So Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is the supreme personality of Godhead himself, Sri Krishna, and his servants addressed him as Prabhupada. This means that there are many Prabhus taking shelter under his lotus feet. So this Prabhupada means that it is referring to Chaitanya Mahaprabhu and the Vishnu Tattvas like Nityananda Prabhu and Advaita Acharya. Now let us see, there is more interpretation to Prabhupada, which we know usually. We call Srila Prabhupada as Prabhupada. So here, again, Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila 10.7, Prabhupada writes extensively on this. So the title Prabhupada is offered to a spiritual master, especially to a distinguished spiritual master such as Sri Rupa Goswami Prabhupada, Srila Jiva Goswami Prabhupada, or Srila Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Goswami Prabhupada. So this is given to the acharyas as well. You can see they are also called Prabhupada. So what happens is when the devotees, ISKCON devotees want to call Prabhupada, initially they were calling Swamiji. Then later they want to call as Prabhupada. And his godbrothers did not like it. They said how he can call his guru's title Prabhupada. But this is the Saraswati Thakur Prabhupada was called Prabhupada. So why he's taking the title? Then Prabhupada writes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita Adilila and some of the conversation lecture, Kehe karibare nare jayatesta lagu karma. So he was telling how Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami was offering prostrated obeisances to any preacher on the Chaitanya movement. It could be a highest or lower, whatever category, he did not differentiate. Krishnadas Kaviraj Goswami offering prostrated obeisances. And Prabhupada writes, anybody is preaching this Krishna conscious movement should be respected. And so the devotees kindly offered me the title Prabhupada. People are just envious about it, and they should accept it. And ISKCON is one of the tree of ISKCON tree. One branch, ISKCON is one branch. It's bona fide. So he was trying to keep his all the devotees encouraged, and he was telling how one should not be envy of the title. Then the same Chaitanya Madhya 10:23, the spiritual master is respectable as Krishna Chaitanya or Lord Vishnu himself. For this reason, the spiritual master is addressed as Om Vishnupada or Prabhupada. The Acharya, the spiritual master, is generally respected by those as Sripada. So from this we can understand there are two interpretations. One is that it is refers to the Mahaprabhu, another one is refers to the great Acharyas. So that's why I was titled this presentation, How to Attain the Pada of Prabhu, which is Mahaprabhu's lotus feet, through Srila Prabhupada. So just by understanding his name, we can understand how we can achieve this. So this is another small pastimes about how Prabhupada got this title. This will give you a little bit of idea behind it, why Prabhupada was called as Prabhupada. This pastime most of you might know. In 1968, while Boston, there is a secretary who was, he was dictating, Prabhupada was dictating, then Prabhupada, then Swamiji, they used to call Swamiji. Anybody in Hindi, we want to call somebody, we add G. And Prabhupada said, Swamiji is not a high class way of addressing your spiritual master. Either it should be addressed Gurudeva or Vishnupada or Prabhupada. Then immediately the secretary asked Prabhupada, can we call you as Prabhupada? So what had happened is Prabhupada, this is the initial time where Mayapur was getting ready, not ready. Basically, he wants to do a stone. He want to start the temple, Bhumi Puja. But Prabhupada was delaying because he was waiting for the Gaur Purnima Tithi to come so that he can lay the cornerstone. Second thing is that there was a war happening between India and Pakistan. Some of the foreigners were asked to evacuate, and they came back after that. But when Prabhupada came for the cornerstone laying in Mayapur, so there is a bamboo stick which says, Welcome Srila Prabhupada. Prabhupada knew that this will attract controversy in his God brothers because they are already been telling that Prabhupada is taking this title and it will issue a controversy. But for Prabhupada, all the devotees in ISKCON, by the time they are all calling Srila Prabhupada, and they send the invite out and everything. So there are two meanings to this. One meaning we previously saw. Those who, there are many Prabhus who take shelter of the master is called Prabhupada. That we have seen, that's one meaning. The second meaning is that one who is always found at the lotus feet of Krishna, the Supreme Master. It is just like Srila Rupa Goswami trying to execute the order of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. That's why he's given title, or all his associates of Chaitanya Mahaprabhu. The 6 Goswamis were given the title Prabhupada. Then similarly, Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur Goswami Maharaj, he executed Sri Bhaktivinoda Thakur's instruction. Similarly, Prabhupada, who executed his spiritual master instruction. So it is befitting to get the title Prabhupada. So in this presentation, I'm going to focus more on the quality. From this Nama, what Guna comes out is that one who is always found at the lotus feet of Krishna. How Prabhupada was always his Guru Maharaj consciousness, as well as the Krishna's lotus feet, is always depend on his Guru's lotus feet and Krishna's lotus feet. Throughout the theme, we're going to see how Prabhupada was exhibiting this qualities. That's what we would see this through presentation. So with this Nama understanding of Prabhupada, I just want to go a little deeper into each and every word, a phrase of name, title when we do a Prema Dhavani, right? The complete name, how it was came to Prabhupada, like that. So the title is Attaining Pada of Prabhu, which is Mahaprabhu, through Srila Prabhupada. So just by understanding Nama Rupa Guna Lila of Prabhupada, we can easily attain the lotus feet of the Lordships. So generally, the Om Vishnupada refers to a person, or it's kind of this Mayavada philosophy. They have 10 titles. You have Saraswati, Bharati, Puri, Aranya, Parvat. Like that, there are 10 categories of any sannyasi. They would be given this title. But in Vishnu's, our Vaishnava Sampradaya, Vaishnavas, they have about 108 names. So Vishnupada is one of the names. Vishnupada is one who has taken shelter. Again, it's similar like Prabhupada. One who has taken the shelter of the lordships. That's what it represents. Then we have, we call him as a Paramahamsa and Parivrajachakacharya. So what happens is in the sannyasa order, there are 4 categories of level in sannyasa also. One is that Kotichaka, Bahutaka, then Parivrajacharya comes, then the 4th one stage is Paramahamsa stage. So to go into little bit detail of these various stages, then you will understand how Prabhupada is such a Paramahamsa or Parivrajacharya. What does that mean? So what happens is Kotichaka is a sannyasi who is a neophyte devotee who just taken sannyas, who stays outside the village where he would depend on the food or prashadam, whatever is from the nearby family or friends and relatives. But he stays outside the village so that they regularly supply food and he focuses on his bhajana. Then this next level is Bahutaka. So he doesn't depend on anymore on the village people, but he goes for Madhukari. Time to time he goes for begging of the food and things like that. So that is allowed on that Bahutaka stage. The 3rd stage is that the Parivrajacharya stage, where the sannyasi thinks that he doesn't need to depend on them. Krishna will provide. He has this complete dependency on the lotus feet of his guru and Krishna, that I will depend on Krishna. Whatever comes, I will take it. And he also goes around and preaches the holy name of the Lord. So Prabhupada, as we know, he has traveled many times. He delivered so many fallen conditions. So that's why this title is given to those. The 3rd stage of the sannyasi who goes and preaches travel doesn't depend on somebody's help for prasadam, for food. He always depends on Krishna. Then this Paramahamsa is something which we need to understand a little bit more. I will first detail out the Paramahamsa. What is the different characteristics of Paramahamsa? Then I'll give you with one pastime of how Srila Prabhupada is befitting to this title. So generally Paramahamsa means, as I said, the 4th stage, one who does not depend on anyone and they don't mingle with the society. First thing is that they don't come and mingle with the society openly. Like, example, Gaura Kishore Das Babaji Maharaj, he would do his bhajan in a separate, some nearby the ghat or some place where toilet where nobody doesn't want to disturb him, things like that. He is the one kind of don't come into the society. But we don't see Prabhupada is doing like that. I will explain why. So the other thing is that this Siddha Prajna, we have seen that Janakarta and those kind of people are Paramhamsas, they are called. But those kind of characters you don't see. And Kunti Maharaj also prayers in his prayers are only the Paramahamsa stage they would be understanding Krishna. Other people at a different level, it's very difficult to understand him. And this Paramahamsa would have never envy them. If somebody is approaching, they don't differentiate. For example, there are some preacher, there's a atheist or somebody is there, non-devotee. Most of the time, the hardcore atheist is then we keep out of preaching to them. But the Paramahamsa never differentiate between anyone. They would accept anyone. They don't envy anyone. So, but Prabhupada interpretation of Paramahamsa, he gives this in the purport and a lot of various other conversation. He says that anyone who takes the bhakti marga or bhakti process, irrespective of is a sannyasa, grahastha, or brahmachari, any ashram, is called Paramahamsa, as long as he is following the footsteps of the bhakti marga and previous acharya.
Hare Krishna, Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Devotees are asking whether voice quality can be a little bit improved.
Okay, I'll try to speak to the mic. I don't know, it's better or little. I'll try to speak little louder.
Okay, Prabhuji.
So there are 2 pastimes through which we can understand how a Paramahamsa life Prabhupada led. One example is that in the Mayapur, when Prabhupada during the initial stage, Prabhupada was given a hut because there is no facility. Devotees were staying in the tent, and Prabhupada was given a very near dusty floor or a small hut. When Prabhupada goes America and all, he would live a royal life. But when he comes to India and Mayapur, he was so happy, pleased with the disciples. And Prabhupada said, Prabhupada, I'm sorry, we could not able to offer you anything in Mayapur. But Prabhupada was so sattvic that he liked the heart and he was really appreciative of the devotees. The servant quarter is just one small partition, that's all. But Prabhupada accepted this as an offering and he never been disturbed. Like a Paramahamsa, never disturbed where he wants to stay. Prabhupada was never concerned what facility he would have, but he just saw the love of the devotees. And second thing is that Paramahamsa, like Haridas Thakur, right? They would always chant 24/7 bhajan. They no sleep, nothing. Maybe in half an hour, something small rest, but always they would keep like Madhavendra Puri. He is a Paramahamsa. He never depended for food or anything. He's always doing his bhajana 24/7. Krishna sometimes is to supply the meal like that. But Prabhupada consciousness also, if you see, is a Paramahamsa because he never. Okay, is it better, Prabhu? Anyway,
I think it is at the same level, Prabhuji. Devotees are asking whether you can speak a little slowly. The speed, if you can slow down.
Okay. Okay, so Prabhupada, the Paramahamsa life, even though he was preaching, but he lived a Paramahamsa life. He just slept for 1.5 hours or 2 hours max. He would write, translate his books. Remaining daytime, he would preach, he would engage in the matters of temple construction and things like that. So he is living as a Paramahamsa. There is, from this Prabhupada Mayapur times, you can see that the Prabhupada is ready to live and he's always 24/7 preaching Krishna conscious or thinking of Krishna conscious, spreading this. The other example, what we can see from this is chapter, I think it is still Prabhupada Lila chapter 7 or something like that. So where there is staying in Vrindavan, Prabhupada before sannyasa, we all know that Damodar temple where Prabhupada stayed after sannyas, but before sannyas, Prabhupada was staying in one of the Kesi Ghat. There is a Vamshi Gopinath temple, Gopalji temple. This is the place he rented out, I think 1 or 2 years before his sannyasa. And Prabhupada lived in Vrindavan near the Kesi Ghat. This temple is near the Kesi Ghat, where we can see that Prabhupada wanted to preach. He wanted to do this Back to Godhead magazine. That's where he was intensifying the time to preach. And 5 rupees was his paying rent to the temple agreement he made. And he didn't have any money. So he would go out daily basis, distribute Back to Godhead. Sometimes he would go to Delhi. There will be no place to stay. So he has to forced to come back to Vrindavan. And Prabhupada would eat only 1 meal per day. Like a Paramahamsa, you can see that Prabhupada used to eat only 1 meal. In the night, he would just take milk. Remaining time, because he has to do printing, so he has to take care of proofreading, he has to write, collect the material, he has to go to the printer, and he has to personally distribute. He was single-handedly doing our entire BTG. He didn't have time, and he has to, sometimes he used to cook for himself. If there is nothing is available, just he would eat whatever available, Mahaprashadam, because he has to take care of the water from the well, everything he has to do. So he lived like a Paramahamsa life. But Prabhupada says that if I would have been staying in Vrindavan like this, how the preaching work will happen, how this movement would have been expanded. So Prabhupada noticed that, the Bhajananandi, it's not Bhajananandi when you go to return to Radha Kund or someplace and chanting, but spreading this movement. So there are various stages of, there are 3 stages, we know the different categories of Adhikari, Uttamadhikari, Kanishta Adhikari, Madhyama Adhikari. So the Uttamadhikari, like a Paramahamsa stage where they don't bother to, mingle with people or preach. But Prabhupada has to come from the Uttamadhikari stage to Madhyama Adhikari. He's always Uttamadhikari, but he wants to preach to the world. So he has to come to that mood and he would preach. So from this various points, we understand that Prabhupada was always a Paramahamsa, and he always would criticize the people, the disciplic succession. Somebody gets a title of Paramahamsa, Goswami, like that, and they are not really a Paramahamsa. And Prabhupada explains how he lived a Paramahamsa life. So this is the meaning of a Paramahamsa. Then we have 108 such Srimad, Sri Srimad. So this is generally a title, or the Sri means beautiful, opulence. Srimad means respectable, like Srimad Bhagavatam, Srimad Bhagavad Gita, we say. Similarly, it's just a respectable name. So coming to the main names of Srila Prabhupada, first his father named him as Abhay Charan. Abhay Charan means one who is fearless, or one who has taken the shelter of lotus feet of Krishna and who is fearless. This is the main meaning of Abhay Charan. So there is a lot of pastimes and stories can be told to talk about this. Few things I would touch upon. Aravinda is the name was given at the Bhakti by Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur during this initiation time. So Abhay Charan was changed to Abhay Charanara Vinda. Then this Bhakti Vedanta Swami title was given by the Gaudiya Math later point of time, seeing his devotion and the literary scholarship what Prabhupada had. Then the Swami title is actually given when Prabhupada taken a sannyasa, then the Swami title was added. This is how these Abhay Charanara and the Bhakti Vedanta Swami Prabhupada the name came. But let us get into little more detail into the Abhay Charan, then probably some details on Aravinda and Bhakti Vedanta Swami. Then we go into the next part is that we will be talking about more on Srila Prabhupada. How to understanding this, we can attain the Pada of the Prabhu. So coming to the Abhay Charan, there is one interesting pastime I remember. This was in Venice Beach. Prabhupada used to go for a morning walk, and generally what happens is Prabhupada would dust off his sand, whatever in the car, and the devotees driving back. So if Prabhupada was about to get into the car after the morning walk, then he saw there is one huge dog, which is looked like a mini horse kind of thing. It's very 5 feet tall and very fatty dog. It was very ferocious, and this dog was just started chasing. I don't know, the owner left him or whatever it is, started chasing. And Prabhupada shouted, turn back to with the cane. Prabhupada turned back to the dog and shouted, hut, hut. And then he said, Prabhupada, the fearless one. So Prabhupada was always, any situation you would handle, and always is never feared about anything, the situation or what's going to come. He always depend on Krishna. There is another pastime. This has happened in the 1970s of San Francisco Rath Yatra, I guess. So what happened is there is 3 carts they built. 2 carts already went, Jagannath and Subhadra Mai. They were pulling this Baladev cart to the park from where they supposed to start the Rath Yatra. And what happened is there were some the black community in USA. Those kids wanted to climb the. There are a few devotee kids were sitting on the Rath. So the other kids were also saw the black community. They said no, our kids wants to come in. So devotees were telling it is risky, don't do that. But the kids were really angry. They went and told some of their friends. Some elderly people, they started coming and just started throwing stones and making a big fight there. So the devotees are used to it because they also know sometimes they go for Kirtan, the Matajis will be been disturbed. So most of the time the devotees go as a protection bodyguard. They go and fight with those people, and this devotees started fighting. This was going on. So somehow the policeman came and they settled the matter, and the Ratha was pulled in. So that's the same time Prabhupada was in his quarter, about to join this Rath Yatra. Then people apprised, devotees apprised to Prabhupada saying not to go because it's risky. There are a lot of people of violence happening. Then Prabhupada asked, did you advertise me coming to the Rath Yatra? Then devotee said, yes, Prabhupada, but you don't go. But Prabhupada never listened because he said, you are already advertised, I will go. So Prabhupada never, he's always dependent on Krishna. The third pastime, what we can understand is one time in Calcutta, Prabhupada was talking, and there were some extreme students who belongs to this communist. They thought that Prabhupada was speaking against the communist, and there's more kind of a terrorist kind of outfit, but not exactly terrorist outfit, but there's more of the extremist, and who would have weapons, and they would started disturbing Prabhupada. Then Prabhupada called for the meeting and he openly spoke to those boys, and they agreed not to disturb him going forward, and he explained the based on the Veda how he's preaching. So that way Prabhupada was never feared about anything and spreading the holy name, and he's always dependent on Krishna any given point of time. He never bothered about one point to happen. And also we have seen Prabhupada how he's fighting with Mr. Nair for the Bombay property. Um, uh, Also, not only Prabhupada, when the Prabhupada disciple also, when with Prabhupada, they will be always fearless. There are many devotees share their experience saying how when the anxieties are there, they just go near to Prabhupada and they start chanting. They even don't ask Prabhupada question, but they're so confident, they're protected. So always this initial days of Sham Sundar, Malti Mataji, Prabhupada, you can ask them, then they'll say, what attracted to Prabhupada is that there is something always magic happening. Always Krishna saves them from various conditions. So Prabhupada said in the Chasing the Rhinoceros, Shamsundar Prabhu writes, how Prabhupada, Krishna, when we take a risk for Krishna, and Prabhupada said that Krishna personally comes and helps us, the devotees. He personally protects them. So that way there are various pastimes. So I just like to have two more pastimes, then move on to the next topic. There is one time what happening is the USA, that time there is no money. Sham Sundar Prabhu Malati Mataji was walking in the early morning, and it has been already 2-3 months they have not paid the rent. There is no money for Sunday feast, and literally there is no money. But suddenly they were saw in the morning there were notes, 100 bills notes flying and coming. It was very foggy morning. Nobody was there. They're trying to go for Mangalarti. Then they saw so much money. They collected it. Then it was around $2,000. Then they came. They paid all the rent. They brought for food stuff for all the boha for all for cooking to the Sunday feast. And that's how they always depend on Krishna. These devotees, they knew that something miracle will happen. There is one more miracle happened in Prabhupada in the UK. So Prabhupada went after much pursuit of this establishing temple in UK, and Prabhupada went in the July or something. He stayed and he said he wants to see the temple construction to be soon completed for Radhanandaneshwar. So the devotees were working on, but somehow it was not happening. June, July, August, September went, October went, and Prabhupada in the November called all the devotees. I can't stay for more here. I need to go. I'm giving a deadline. By December 15th, you complete it. I booked my tickets. And Prabhupada told this, and everybody knew that Prabhupada will go. So everybody is trying to do their best. It was 1 week before they were trying, and the Shamsundar Prabhu was carving out nice places for the altar, but the deities were not there. It has been advertised. They know that it has been advertised, and Prabhupada knew that there were no deities, and he was trying to contact his god brothers in India, tell them to in the flight send it. People have been sent to all over UK, wherever Indian population is there, ask them to find out whether any deities available. It is just 2-3 days or 4 days before. There is no clue about this temple installation happening. There is no deities. The Shamsundar is trying hard against his time to establish the altar. And he said, I never worried about getting deity. I know deities will somehow will come. Suddenly, 2-3 days before, he gets a call saying that there is one Hindu community. They brought these deities, but they want to check somebody senior like Prabhupada. Is it okay to install? Because Radharan is, there's a little finger, there's a small cut. Generally, the Murti Vigraha is little damaged. They hesitate to do that. And Shamsundar told to this Prabhu. Then Prabhupada said, let's go. So they took a van and they went. Prabhupada did not talk about the Murtis because the host was expecting Prabhupada would inspect them and they would talk. Prabhupada was generally talking in Hindi, he was not coming to the point. Then suddenly the host asked Prabhupada, do you want to see the Murtis, whether we can install them? And Prabhupada said, yes, I will see them. Then they opened the box, they saw, then he was explaining how rather than his little finger, there was a small damage. Prabhupada said, okay. Then he started talking. Suddenly, Prabhupada came to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. Can you see how weight is the Krishna? Can you lift him? Then Tamal Krishna Maharaj somehow lifted. He said, Prabhupada, we can manage. Then he said, he took it to the van. And similarly, he asked Shamsundar and another devotee to pick up Radharani and get into the van. The host was stumped. He doesn't know what to speak or what was. Prabhupada just kidnapped literally Radha Nandanishwar, and he came. And on the way, Dhammakrishna Maharaj said, Prabhupada, you literally kidnapped them. And Prabhupada said, like in Damodar Lila, Krishna made a pastime where he always too in short when Yashoda might try to bind her. Similarly, Radha and Krishna, they want to come here to our temple. This is a small pastime, Krishna is doing it. This is a trick of Krishna, don't worry. So Prabhupada knew always there is Krishna will protect. So imagine there's 2 days before, there is no deity, everything is established, communicated. They want to establish the altar. Always there is a miracle happening when Prabhupada want to do something, Krishna always supports. So that way the devotees around him also inspired, fearlessly go and preach and take shelter of the Guru and Krishna. There is one more pastime I like to talk about is the Jaladuta Diary, because this is the exact time in the August month where 13th of Friday, Prabhupada onboarded on Jaladuta, and this entire month he would be traveling, and the next month sometime mid he would complete his journey. So this is also another example of how Prabhupada was fearless when he had heart attack. And we all know that, I'll just quickly go through before I have 2 more slides to complete. So Prabhupada is writing in his diary, there were few people, Sindhya Sensa, Sen Gupta, as well as Ali and Vrindavan. We all know that Prabhupada went with 40 rupees most of the time, we talk about it. There is another devotee who went and checked with this Sumati Moraji, and he was having interview with them as well. In that, somewhere it is written that Prabhupada had 40 rupees and he saw Vrindavan, his son. They said 40 rupees will not be used. He gave that 40 rupees also to his son. Prabhupada literally went penniless. Then this Sumati Moraji was saying, I gave a passage or I given a ticket to Prabhupada, but I was sure on that day that my ticket to Goloka Vrindavan is confirmed. Just by serving this Prabhupada, and she was sure that she will go back to God because the ticket for Prabhupada will arrange. And so Friday 13th, Prabhupada embarked this journey. 14th, he was on the Bay of Bengal. He was all right, but he started feeling a little bit of seasickness. His vomiting tendency happened. Then 15th, he woke up. There is no hunger. He just took a lemon juice and he didn't eat anything. 16th, again, a little took puff rice, and he was no appetite to eat. And Prabhupada was really suffering. Then in 17th, he reached Colombo and he asked his captain to take him around so that he feels better. He's little bit better. Then Prabhupada started traveling on 18th and 19th. They were trying to go to the Kochi. So again, the C6 started. This Janmashtami Day, Friday 28th, they had a Janmashtami, Prabhupada celebrated. Then the books were loaded in Kochi. On the Ekadasi day, he fasted. Again, seasickness began. He did not eat. The next day, even though he was fasting, he was trying to take some food. He takes only one time, Prabhupada, but still he was not able to eat. And exactly on Wednesday, 25th to 30th is the date on which he had a heart attack. Then you can see from the photos how Prabhupada mentioned in his diary that 13th day of voyage, I got this heart attack. And this is the diary. Prabhupada is not written to anyone. This is, he kept it as a personal thing. And later the devotees found, and they were, then when they asked Prabhupada, Prabhupada said, like Acharya's written diary should be kept. Still this diary is there, kept in one of the temple in US. Then you should preserve this. And this, about this Prabhupada being saved by Krishna, other incarnation rowing the boat, it was not in the diary, but Prabhupada just written one line. He didn't write anything on the Wednesday 25th to 30th. But later Prabhupada revealed this to the devotees, saying that how Krishna saved. So this, the other great example of the Abhay Charan, who fearlessly he was supporting. I mean, he's always depend on Guru and Krishna all the time. So it's not only the name. Prabhupada just literally lived by that. What is that? And also he wrote this prayer, Lotus Feet to Krishna. We don't have time, but quickly you can see his mode of dependency on his Guru. Shri Siddhanta Saraswati Sachi Sutta Prayati Krishna Sevaya Jara Tolana Se Mohanta Guru Jagate Madhuru Krishna Bhagati Dedata Tomara Milane Bhai Abhashe Shuka Bhai गोचारने गोरी दिन बो कथा बाने छोटा छोटी बाने काई तो लोटा पोटी से ये दिन कबे हबे मोर. In this poem, Srila Prabhupada clearly calls out the dependency on his Guru, Sri Srimad Bhakti Siddhanta Saraswati Thakur, who is very true dear Lord Gauranga, the son of Mother Sachi, is unparalleled in his service to the Supreme Lord Krishna. He is the great saintly spiritual master who bestows intense devotion to Krishna. Then by his mercy, and if you want to see the relation between Krishna, here small hint is given. He says, "Oh dear friend, in your company I will experience a great joy once again." So the great friend is nothing but Krishna. So Prabhupada is always thinking about the Gopas, how they play forward posture in the field. He remembers the joy. Oh dear friend, I in your company. So this gives a little bit background about who is Prabhupada. Now we understood the glories of Prabhupada, or devotee who has taken the shelter of Prabhupada, how they are fearless. But how to achieve the lotus feet is that through Prabhupada, which is Srila Prabhupada. So Srila means one who is beautiful. La means Lila. Prabhupada explains in one of his conversation. Srila means basically one who knows that Krishna's Lila, one who has power and beauty or knowledge to know this Lila of the Krishna. He is called Srila. And Prabhupada, the Prabhupada again means then one who has taken the shelter of Prabhupada. So one time, I just narrate this pastime. You might know the Krishna Maharaj pastime. With that, I would like to conclude. One time, he was not well. He has to undergo operation in Mumbai. He went and admitted in Mumbai, but Prabhupada wanted him to take a treatment in US because he didn't know what kind of situation in Mumbai. So Prabhupada was driving in the jeep to convey this message to personally to Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj. But already he went to the operation theater. He was given anesthesia, but he had a beautiful dream. Then after that, when Prabhupada came, he was explaining that dream to Prabhupada. So Prabhupada, you've been asked to send a report, preaching report by your previous acharyas. You were telling this, my disciples, they don't know, they don't have much pious background. They can't take a simple austerity for the physical. They don't have knowledge to go in depth into the Shastras. There is no fortune, I mean, there is nothing, the disciple has any qualification. Then the previous Acharya was asking how you plan to deliver them. But they have taken shelter under my lotus feet. And Tamal Krishna Goswami Maharaj was asking, is it true? Prabhupada said, yes, that's right. And many times Prabhupada said, I have created fortune for all of us. So Prabhupada, just by holding Prabhupada and surrendering to his lotus feet, that's the only way we can go back to God, because there's no fortunate, and this knowledge of Gauri Sampradaya and Mahaprabhu, the details are given by Prabhupada alone. So if Prabhupada wouldn't have been there, it is very, very difficult to know all these things and go back to Godhead. Prabhupada is the only shelter. Just by taking shelter of Prabhupada, we will become fearlessness, and also we can achieve the pada of the Mahaprabhu through Srila Prabhupada. So I would stop here for more comments or questions, since it's almost 8. So if you have any comments or questions, please, or any corrections, or any reflections you want to say, kindly please stop. Hare Krishna. Hare Krishna.
Hey Krishna Prabhuji.
Yeah, Prabhu.
Okay. Thank you very much, Prabhuji, for wonderful Lila Amrita on Srila Prabhupada. Devotees can post your questions in the chat window. or you can mute yourself and ask questions to Prabhuji.
Not only questions, any reflections they want to add, that's fine.
I have unmuted the mic. You can unmute and ask questions or add additional comments. Prabhuji Sanma.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, Dandavat Pranam.
Hare Krishna Mataji.
Can you just explain Srila? What is Srila means, Prabhu?
Srila refers to any normal person is called Sri, Sriman, Sri, such a person. Srila is more respected word, and Prabhupada gives another meaning to the Srila. Sri means beauty, La means Lila. Srila means one who knows the pastime of Krishna, who has the power to understand. He is called Srila. Srila means one who is able to deliver the Lila of Krishna, confidential message to the people. So that's what Srila means.
Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Prabhu, Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Prabhu.
Yeah, Prabhu. Hare Krishna, Mural.
How's that? You are better now.
Yeah, I'm better now, Prabhu.
You are very bright, actually. Total rest, I think. Results of the rest.
Yeah.
Prabhu, this I heard from some devotee. Srila means 108 times Shri. Instead of saying 100 times Shri, it's just shortly told Srila. Is it? I heard about it like this.
I checked in Vedabase. This is the only reference I got. So I'm just speaking whatever I spoke. The research I've done in the Vedabase. I didn't see that 108 times, but only Srila means the only one place where Prabhupada talked about this explanation. But that might be true, but I need to check the source. But when I researched, I could not able to find.
Prabhuji, one more doubt. This Cochin, that Bhagavatam books were loaded in the ship, na?
Yes.
That is when the Prabhupada was traveling from Mumbai to Boston, na? It's the en route. Is it en route, or again he went back, the books went back to Bombay and then...
No. From Bombay, it is shifted to Cochin. From Cochin, when he was going, only he picked up the book. He went along with the book. Prabhupada said, I'm not going alone. I am going with the Bhagavatam. I want to, like, guardian to the book. Srimad Bhagavatam is going to US. That was Prabhupada mode. Krishna is going, you can see from the poem. So he was just accompanying Srimad Bhagavatam. That's the only source for him. So it was loaded from Mumbai. It is not loaded for various reasons in Mumbai, but it was shifted.
It is loaded in Cochin, na?
Correct, Cochin.
Yeah. Recently, a few days back, they celebrated that anniversary.
Correct. So yeah, it was loaded into the Cochin port.
But the thing is, the Prabhu, when he became the seasickness and all this thing he got, that is between Mumbai and Cochin or after Cochin?
As soon as he started, you can see the 14th, 13th he boarded, 14th he felt seasickness. That is continued till Ceylon. Then he went out of the Ceylon to go around, so at land at least he would get some relief. Then again he started to Cochin, then seasickness started. So it was continuous on and off. And exactly on Wednesday 25th, he had 13th day of his voyage, he had this severe attack. But he just started from the next day. So then he went to Cochin, then he also went out to Ceylon. Some relief came, but it started continuously. Then after Janmashtami, Ekadasi fasting, then it was complete down. He didn't eat anything for 2 days. Little bit of juice or something, but it was continuous throughout. And after Krishna taking in charge of the boat, that's where he was relieved. So that's the dependency on Prabhupada.
He boarded how many days before Janmashtami, Prabhu? I think there is a gap.
Janmashtami on Friday 28th, he traveled on 13th. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7. 7 days before Janmashtami.
7 days before Janmashtami.
Yeah.
That means almost 10 days he has taken from Mumbai to Cochin. Okay, Prabhu, thank you.
Prabhu.
Hare Krishna.
Hare Krishna, Gopinath Prabhu.
Hare
Wonderful
Krishna.
class.
Hare Krishna.
Murari here. Prabhuji, this thing, Prabhu always, Krishna is called as Prabhu, is it not? Prabhupada means?
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is
Is
Prabhupada.
one who, yeah.
Prabhupada,
Chaitanya Mahaprabhu is called Mahaprabhu.
he is also
So,
called Prabhupada.
those who wanted to,
He's called Mahaprabhu also, but he's called Prabhupada. That's why I given this Chaitanya Charitamrita quotation. Here, Kasi Mishra calls Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Prabhupadera, means Prabhupada. They all call Chaitanya Mahaprabhu as Prabhupada.
Yeah, because Vishnupad is in the lotus feet of Vishnu, is it not?
Correct.
Vishnupad
One who was taken shelter,
Paramahamsa.
one who was taken shelter of Krishna's lotus feet, and also as mentioned, there are various 108 titles are there. One of them is the Vishnupada or Sripada. Sometimes we say Sripada Ramanujacharya. So that's the title given from Vaishnava Sampradaya. There are 108 titles. Like Mayavadi, they'll have Puri.
Okay.
So this comes from that. The Vishnupada or Sripada is mostly used for the sannyasis. Sripada Ramanujacharya, Sripada Madhvacharya. Here Vishnupada is similar. Vishnupada.
Gaudiya Vaishnavas, we are taking the shelter of Radharani, no?
Yeah, Prabhu.
Yeah. Okay, bro. Okay, bro. Wonderful class. Thank you, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna Prabhu, a wonderful class, Dandavat Pranams. Only thing is because we are totally ignorant, we could not get the full essence, but still very, very nice class, Prabhu. Hare Krishna.
Thank you.
Hare Krishna, Dandavat Pranam Prabhuji for the wonderful class.